Encourage with that. So today we'll be dealing with hello.
Hello, sir. How are you, sir?
Okay. So today we continue where we stopped yesterday. I'll just do a brief recap on what we did yesterday. And today we'll be dealing
Hello,
with
can hear you.
other tags in HTML, other tags. And after today class, we'll now move. That will be next week, but probably in between, I'll be giving you tags. And by God's grace, before weekend, I will send you a PDF material that contains all these things we've been doing that you can always go through and see other sample code to practice them. All right. Okay. So yesterday we were able to create 2 pages and we were able to link the pages together. Did anybody remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
and can anybody remind us the tag we used to link the pages together? Can anybody remind us?
Anchor tag.
Yes, correct.
Yes,
Anchor
sir.
tag,
Yes, sir.
that's hyperlink. So we use anchor tag, which is letter what? A. You can see it here. And we have
Wait.
for our href hyperlink reference. That's the full meaning of this href here. Why you put the directory, the location of that particular file you want to display into it. So we also did what is called inline styling yesterday by adding all these styling properties, background color, padding, width. By the time we'll be doing css, we will actually handle this styling property in details. There are many of them and we'll be doing it at that point of the training. So yesterday I told you that you can use section. Now there are some tags that is actually you can categorize to be content tag, like div tag, session tag, article tag. Article is more or less like session. The only difference between article and session is just that you cannot put article inside an article, and you cannot put article like inside a div, like it's just a standalone stuff. But for your normal basic development, you don't really need article much. You hardly see anybody using article. Most time you see people using div and section. And even when you inspect all these framework web design like React, Angular and the rest, most of what you'll be seeing there is div. You hardly see section, article and the rest. So what am I saying with that is this, that you can actually build a full functioning website without even using section keyword, the one I use here, without using article. But it's actually a good practice to be using it. And these h tags like h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, you can develop your site without your website without using all of them. But it's also a good practice to know how to use each and every one of them. I mean the other tags now. So the main topic, the main page topic should be the one that will have h1, while the other topics in your page, there is subtopics, you should use like something like h2, h3, h4, h6 for them, depends on the way you want to design it. And at the same time, which other tag I want to emphasize on? Okay, then we did our list tag, that's ol and ul. This it's here. I think I've removed the ol part. Okay, is there. We did ol and ul. So, and I told you that we use ol to list content or item in uh, either numeric order or alphanumeric order, why we use the another listing for something like when you want to use a bullet point to list your items. So that's when we use ul. And at the same time, you can still use your another listing to create another thing that has nothing to do with item. Take for example, most navbar you've been seeing on the website, they are actually made using ul, which means another listing. We'll get to that point where we'll be creating components using CSS. So by that time you will understand some of these tags better. So today I would like to start with img tag. Where should we put that? Okay, let's put it that actually I didn't like the way our page was appearing yesterday. It doesn't really appear nice. That's our index page and our about page. We'll create a better page later as we proceed to our CSS. Okay, in our about us, you want to include picture into this web page. This is our home page yesterday. I think it's simple enough. Okay, so we want to include picture. How do we include picture to our web page? There's a tag called img tag. That's for image, to include image in your web page. Should we create a new page, or we should just use the one we've already created before?
So let's create the new one, sir.
Okay, so I'm creating a new one. I actually use Ctrl N to create a new page. Then I will save this one as gallery dot html. Then after that I can now use my shortcut html, write it html. Then oh no, this is not what I want. I want this guy to complete it for me. html. Oh my god. Okay, so I don't need these two guys. Alright, so I want to include image into the web page. How do I do that? Then you write your tag img, then you close it. Now this img tag doesn't need to close, doesn't need closing tag like other tags like header tag, paragraph tag, div tag. So the way to close this type of tag that doesn't have a closing tag is by putting a forward slash at as in close to the greater than sign key here. So inside it there's something we call src. And what is this src? That's your source, your image source. What does image source means? Like the directory where you store the image you want to display on your web page. So the way it's being done normally, you have to import or download the image you want to use and put it in your assets folder. And remember yesterday we created some folders inside our assets folder which includes image folder, right? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alright, so what
Yeah,
I will
yeah,
do now
Yes,
is
sir.
that I'll go to
Yeah,
my
with you,
system
sir,
folder
with you.
where I have my pictures. Then I will copy one picture and put it let me see where I can get one beautiful picture. Okay, so I'll just copy one picture here and put it in our folder. I think my folder I created it on desktop. So this is the folder here, and this is my asset folder. This is our image folder. Then I'll put it inside. You can put as many images as you like. Let me even copy another and put it there. Pictures. Okay, let me see another beautiful pictures. So I'll copy it inside. Now mind you, this picture name is too long, so to me I won't be comfortable using this one, so I have to change to anything I like. Just change to background image. I can just put background image 1. Then this other guy is too long too. I will rename it to probably background image 2. So after you are done with this, let me just rename this one too, so that it can have the same pattern, the same pattern with the other ones. So we have 3 images in our image folder. So now you go back to your code. So and mind you, let me open the root directory. Now look at this structure here. We have our about file here, our gallery file and index file here. So which means that for this gallery code to access that image, we need to reference the path to that image. And where is the path to that image? Which means that this gallery code needs to enter this asset first. After entering the assets, it needs to enter this image folder, then take any pictures you want to take. Is that taken? So in our code now, how do we go that? How do we do that? We use asset. You see that the VS code is suggesting the folder. Then the next one is what? Next folder under the asset is images. And what type of images you want to select? I'm selecting the image one, bg1, and that's all. Now it's just because the VS code is actually suggesting that for me, but if you are the one typing it, probably your editor is not suggesting that. So it's always good to know the extension of that file you want to display, the image you want to display. So I have bg1, and if you don't know the file extension from your VS code there, just go back to your folder, over on it, then you see the type. You can see that the type of this the extension of this image is webp file. So which means that that's what we now put at the front of this bg1 text as dot webp, because that's the extension. If you use jpg, it will not show. If you use any other extension that is not the original extension of that image, it will not display. So you have to always know the extension of that image before you put into your image source here. So after that, we save it, and let's open our file in the browser. You can see this is the image. So now I want to change this image to the other one, to the background 3, the bg3. So let me save it. Nothing is showing. Can you see this small icon? It shows that what the directory to the image source I provided is not actually correct. So what could likely go wrong with the brief explanation I've done so far? Can anybody help us out? Hello?
It
I
should
think
be
it's the
the
image
extension.
extension. The image extension.
Very good, you are
That's
correct.
the BP. Well,
The extension.
So let's check the extension out now. Our assets, images. So I'm using bg3. So what's the extension? Can anybody see it?
JPG.
Correct, jpg.
JPEG,
So
JPG.
we now remove this guy here and put jpg there, jpg. Save it. Let's go back, refresh. You see that? So now we successfully display our image in our web browser, but we
Yes,
don't
sir, I
want
can
the
see it.
image to full the screen the way it's full the screen like this. How do you control it? It has another property like width and height that you can use to regulate it. So yesterday I was using some units like px percentage yesterday. So when you are defining a unit in your styling or property, in some property or value, when you are using px will always be fixed value. When you are using percentage is relative. What I mean by relative is that it will always be adjusting itself to your screen or to the in relative to the parent component. What do I mean with that? Take for example now, this image tag is inside the body directly rather, and the body of your web page is 100% of your device screen. If your device is mobile phone, it will take 100% of your mobile screen. If your device is computer, it will take the 100% width of your device your computer screen. Now this image here, now if you want it to use the same width as of that body width and your screen width, then you now use it, you now make it to be 100%. And the same thing with the height, you make it 100%. Let's check it out. You can see now. Now if you now want to reduce it to probably the half of the screen width, then change this one to 50%. And if you want the height to also be probably half of the screen height, change to 50%. Do you see it? It has adjusted itself. But however, most time when you are dealing with image, most time if you don't really know the size you want to use, you can use width to be 100%. While the height, don't put anything there, just write auto. make it to be auto, something like this. Do you see that? So however, when you don't define your height at all, when you don't even write it at all, it automatically use auto value. So which means that it's not a must you write height auto. When if you don't define it, that's what it will use as default. So however, if you know the size you want, the size you need, like there's no need of using percentage, so you can as well use px. So that will be probably you want to use let me say 100, the width to be 200 px and the height to be probably 100 px, so it will still work. Sorry, do you see that? That's 200 by 100 px. So however, you can see instead of using px, there's another unit you can use, which is called view width and view height. So for width you can use vw, which means view width. That means that your screen view width. Then here you can use view height, that's vh. The implication of this is that when you are using 200 view width now, just like you are using 200%. When you are using 100 vh now, it's just like you are using 100%. So view width and view age most time is 100%, but the difference between them is that the area visible at the moment is what the view is representing. Take for example, let me return this one to 100 now, so that we can get the difference between it very well. So that would be like 100%, 100%. Oh, view width, view height. View width, view height. Okay, that particular property is not working directly because of this. It's not actually captured in these properties here, attributes rather. So another way you can still use your inline styling with your image. Instead of defining it like this, you can as well define a style and write your width inside this, just like you've been doing since yesterday. And in this case, let me use my 100 view width here, and my height to be 100 view h. So most time you use this view w and view h on width and height property, and not on any other thing. You can see that it's working when I use the inline styling now. So that's how it will be. So that's that, so that I won't waste much time on this guy. Let's now do another thing. Let's say we have a parent div like this. Don't mind, my system is just getting slower. I define a div outside here. So this closing tag, I will just copy it and put it under the image tag. So now, looking at this code here now, you discover that what the image tag is inside
What's the div?
the div, that's div.
What's the meaning of it, sir?
Division, content division tag.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So now you discover that our image tag is inside this div tag, right? So now this div tag, now I want it to be
Say something. Hello, good evening.
good
Well
evening.
done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the style, I'm getting echo, I don't know. Okay, I think the thing is back. So this, I want to start my div now, the width to be, sorry, the width will be 80% of the main screen width, and I will now put this guy here, the image, to be 100%. So let's see what happened. You know, this view width is actually 100, just like 100%, but let me use 100% directly so that it will not be getting confused. And this height, I don't need it for now, since it will adjust itself to the size of the image. What happened? You can see that the width is not filling the whole screen again. Why? Because the 100% I define here is not the 100% of the main screen. It's the 100% of this parent tag, which is what? The div tag. Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Repeat, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
clear, sir.
So
It's
now
clear.
let's say I have another div tag inside again.
Yes, clear.
And I paste it inside like this. Then I now define this inside div tag to be 80% again. So this means that this outside div tag, the first div tag, will be 80% of the main body width, which will be width of the screen. Then this second div tag will be 80% of the total width of this div outside div tag. Then this image will now be 100%, since I'm dividing 100% here, 100% of this div tag, not the outer one, the inside one. So they are relative to the component or the tag are nearest to them or above them, not the outer one. So that's how these properties actually works. So let's see, before we continue, let me just add background color to it so that we'll be able to see the changes. Background color, let me use alcohol, and here after your property you always add semicolon so that you can define another one. If you don't do that, it will be showing you error. Let me put this one to be black so that it will be glaring. And okay, I think that's enough. Do you see that? Okay, let me reduce this 100% now to be probably 80% of this inner div tag, or let me even say 50% of itself. Can we see that? So this, the where you are seeing, the area you are seeing white is the body, which is what? The width of the whole screen. The area you are seeing the cyan color is the div tag, the outer div tag, while the area you are seeing the black color is the inner div tag, while this image is the image inside the div tag. So their width is actually relative to the nearest tag to them. I don't know if that's clear enough.
Yes,
so
sir.
so
Yes,
that's how
yes,
the styling property works. They take they are relative to the nearest tag to them, and most time we call those nearest tag the parent component. So when you are hearing people saying parent child, the one outer is called parent, the one inside is called child. So like now this image here now is a child to this div tag here, while this image is also a grandchild to the outer div, while this outer div is a parent to this inner div tag, while this inner div tag you can also call it a child to the outer div tag. Is that clear?
sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today I would not like to be doing inline styling. I would prefer to do another type of styling. All right, so I will remove this guy. Though it will look as if the thing is spoiling our work, but don't worry, it won't spoil it. So how do we now style our code now, since we cannot use inline styling? Is there any other way? Yes, there are other two ways of doing that, but out of the two ways, we actually have three ways. That's the inline styling, then the script styling, or let me say the block styling, and we also have the css. So the css is what we'll be continuing, what we start with next week. Why today I'll just introduce us to another way of doing the styling that is better than the inline styling. So we now come to our head tag here. Inside our head tag, then we create a tag called style tag. So inside this style tag now, we now be able to reference our tag, what's it called, our tag inside the body. So you can reference this tag directly by writing it the way it is. Just write div and use your curly brackets. Then inside the curly bracket you put anything you want to put there. Let's say background color green. And you come outside it. Now some will be thinking that, okay, how do I reference the second div? Don't think that if you want to reference the second div you can type another div here. If you should write it this way, the second div you write under will overwrite the one you define above, because they're actually the same thing. So you don't need to be doing this. Let me clear that. So for the image, you can actually, you come outside and define your image again. So for the image, I want the width to be
Ó ti lọ sábó lọ́pọ̀ bọ̀ wá.
200 px
Bẹ́ẹ̀.
and your height 200 px. So let's see what happens. Now we can't actually differentiate between the outer div and the inner div again, right? Because the property set
Yes, sir.
here,
Yes, sir.
the property set here is actually for anywhere there is div inside your body tag.
Yes, sir.
So let me
Like we
put
should
that
give it
here.
a class.
Sir? Hello?
Hello, sir.
I didn't hear you.
I said we can give it a class to differentiate it.
Okay, we are going there. So now, how do we differentiate it now? There's another way of doing that before we get to what you are saying, the one you are talking about. So now, I will just
I can
come
hear you,
down
sir. I can
a
hear you,
bit
sir.
and define my div tag again. Then use my greater than arrow to reference a
Okay.
child div. Then I'll put this guy to be. Let me use this one. Let me just make this one to be
Greater
another
than.
color. Did we see that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
greater than sign is showing that what the one the sign is pointing to is the
It should go to
child.
the parent.
Yeah, the this one I'm highlighting here is the child tag. So the child div is what we are styling here. Why this one will point to all the div in the body, but this is not the best way of referencing a particular part of your content in your page. So how do you go about it? We have two ways of actually identifying or making a particular part of your code to be unique. So the first one is to use what we call class identification, or you use id identification. So what's the difference between class and id? I will show you. So here now, these are our parents. We can call this one class. Let's say class,
No.
and we want to define it to be container. Container is anything. I just use container. You can choose to use anything you like. I can even put my name here, Francis Ed, and inside here I can write another class, Francis Child. Can put anything there. Then inside the image here, I want to put a class there too. Class my image. Just that anything you are putting must be unique. So inside my styling here now, instead of just doing div, how do I reference this particular class? So to reference class, use dot sign. You see that dot? Then you write the name of your class followed by the name of your class, and the name of my first class, which is the parent class, is Francis Ed. Then I cannot define the width again and the color. And then inside the Francis Ed, I have Francis. Sorry, I will first start with dot Francis child. mind you. Oh, so now for the image, I'll just use dots instead of referencing the image tag, because I can still use image tag in another place in my page. So I don't want to be conflicting myself. So I'll just use this unique class, and my image I want it to be width to be 400 px, then the height to be 300 px. Then I want to give my image border, then border I want the border to be very big, 10 px. Then the type of the border I want to use dash. Yesterday we used solid, so I want the line to be dash dash dash, like when you are ticking it. Then I want the color, I have to set the color of the border. Permit me to use, I've not taught you this type of, let me just write it, don't worry, let me just write another thing. Orange. Okay, so we are good to go now. Then I want the edge of my image to be curved. Then I will now use border radius for that. Then let's say 30, no, 20%, sorry, 20 px. So now let's check it out. Do you see that? Okay, but you are not seeing the curve for this the border for this image clearly. Why? The reason why is because the image size is bigger than the div, so we have to add a padding to our div so that we allow us to see the child component very well. You get that? It will create a space around the child component. So where are we adding our padding now? Inside this Francis. So padding, let's use 50 px. And for the parents, so that it will give Francis child space too, let's use padding 20 px and save it. Did we see that? But something is not showing. That's our border. What's it called? Our border is not showing. So let's change this one to solid. I think my spelling there is not correct for that dash. You can see the border now. Hello, are we there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. That dash, let me go back. The spelling is not correct. Don't mind me. Okay, it's dashed. Did you see how it appear?
Yes.
All right. So now that's another way to define your styling without doing inline styling directly. You can see that our code is easier to read now. It's more cleaner and neater than the previous way of defining our styling. So another thing, another way of defining your unique identification for your tag, instead of using class, there's another one called ID. And ID is more unique than class. Get that one and get it forever. ID is more unique than class. You won't know the importance of this ID now until we start our JavaScript programming. That's when you appreciate this ID. So ID is actually good, but when it comes to styling, I prefer you continue to use your class. But when it comes to JavaScript, that's when we'll be using the ID the most. So for the ID, you don't use dots. Now if I save this thing and check it out now, you see that the styling will not be there again. So because we are using ID and not class, so we can't use dot. Instead of this dot, if you are using ID, if you want to style it, you now use hashtag. You can see that tag instead of dot. If it's ID you are using for your tag there. So when you check it now, our styling will be back. Can you see that? I didn't like this color I'm choosing. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't like it. Okay, I'm still using green here. Let me use something that is looking better. Okay, and this place let me use white, and this place let me use okay, let's continue. So the other tag we'll be working with now is table tag. Hello.
We are here with you, sir.
How do
Yes,
you
sir, we are here
create
with you.
table with rows and column? Most time you have to be dealing with data. So how do you do that? Let's do something here. I didn't like. Okay, let me create another div that will contain everything I want to do. So this div, let me copy this closing tag and put it at the last part here. So this div will now be the main container. I'll use class here. Permit me to use class. Someone is tired. So and I will style it here. Sorry, I'm using class container.
Okay.
Then the background, let me just give it something that will be glaring. Let's just do this. This will be too thick. Then I'll give it padding just 20% round. That's all. So this guy, I'll be giving it margin bottom. Margin bottom. Let me just give it 50 px. Okay, let's see the result of that. Why this guy here? Sorry, the container will now be width. Let me use 100%, 100 few width. Am I typing like this? 100 few width. Few width, then height.
Sir, for the margin bottom, you have not declared the pitch.
Oh, wow!
You have not
Thank you for
declared
that.
it.
It was my number pad that was not on then, and the padding here too, the same thing. 20. All right. So let's see. Okay. So this area with this light brown color is our container. Then we have our div, parent div, and the inner div there. Let me just make this one to be lighter a little bit. Okay. So now I want to define another thing for our table. So I will use div. You can see that I'm using div more now. So it's more comfortable using div. So for the table now, there's a tag called table. So in your table, you have table head, you have table caption, and you have rows and column. So to start with, let's define our table head. So to define table head, use th or t head. The two is actually doing the same thing. Hello.
We are there, sir.
So you can either use th or t head. Sorry, mistake. You start with tr. The tr is the row. Then inside the row, you have your head. That will be th now. Th. So this h, the header, like take for example now, you have a table that consists gender, age, and name. So that word name, age, and gender is the table header, while the value under them is the table data. Is that clear? So now we want to declare our table header, which is name, and we have another one, table head, th. You'll be repeating this guy. uh, gender. Then the next one will be age. So after you are done with this row, the first row which is the header, so the next row will now be what? Your data. So inside this table row, our header is comprised of how many column? That's 3 column: name, gender and age. So which means that my data must also follow suit, and that will be td. Now mind you, when I was defining the header I use th,
Table body.
but when I want to define the data now inside the
Yes.
column I'm using td. That's table data. So
TD.
for the first name now, let me use
Okay.
John Mark. And for the gender, let me use May. Then for the age, let me use 12. And let's save this and see what happens. Can we see it?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Or the
Yes,
guy
sir,
is
we can see,
putting
sir.
Yes,
it
sir. We can see it. Yes, sir.
so disgusting. But don't worry about that. We'll start it later. So now when you are done with this, you can just copy this again. I copy this thing with the tr, which is the row. So you are defining each row with its own data. Each row with its own data.
Okay.
Do you see that? But
Yes, sir.
your
Yes,
row
sir.
for the header will only be one. It's only be one. Let's check it. Can you see that? Now what will
Yes,
now
sir.
happen if your data here, your t data is more than the header you define? Let's see what will happen. td, for this one maybe you add something like uh, score. Let's say 95. But you didn't define score in your header. So what will now happen?
Mm.
You can see that the table has been distorted. The 95 is not standing under anyone. That's how it will
Yes, sir.
just go
Yes.
beyond the main table. So always ensure that your table data is the same number as your table header. Alright, let me clear this guy.
All right, sir.
So this is how you define your table. Now if you want to add a caption to it, what is this table all about? You can see that caption. Then I will say class details. Let me just use anything. I'm just going to use this. And let's see what happens. Do you see that? It will show at the top as the title
Yes, sir.
uh, of the table.
Table.
So what's next is to style our table to make it look better. Give me a place.
Yes, sir, we are checking.
So now we go up to our styling tag here under this guy. You can actually put it anywhere. You can put it at the top, at the middle, at the center, but it's better you arrange your styling very well. So now I can use the tag directly if I'm not defining more than one table. But let's say I'm defining more than one table, then it's better I add a unique identity here, which could be class or id. So I want to use class now. And another important thing about another advantage of using a class or id is that instead of repeating your code like we normally do for the inline styling, you can actually copy the class to another place you want to use the same property. We'll be seeing that one later. So let me just define this class here and
Yeah.
call it class detail. Then call it dictate table. Okay. And when you are using more than one word to represent your class name, always put hyphen in between. Don't put a space. If you put a space, it will mean that you are defining two different class. Take for example, if I want to define another class here that is different from this detail table, I'll just put a space and write maybe uh, info. That's another class entirely, which is different from this other one. But if they are actually together, use hyphen like this. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's put border around our table. I'll go up and define the detail this class. Sorry if your mic is on, kindly mute it so that you won't be disturbing others. This dots table, and you now define it to be border. And what is the border size? Let's use 1px so that it will be very thin. It will be so small, solid. We are not using dash this time around, we are using solid. So if you don't define the color for your border and you define the size and the type of the border, it will assume black color. Generally it will assume the black color for it. So let's see what happened. So it will not show anything until you include every other tag there. So now I want to include the tag here. I'll just do th comma td. Now why am I using comma here? I'm actually referencing this class. Where is it? This class, this tag, the th tag and the td tag. So I want to give them the same property. That's why I put comma there. But if I want to reference only td, instead of putting comma here, I'll just use our greater than sign. Do you get it? So this one shows that what I'm only setting the property for only this td tag and not th and detail table. Why I started with this detail table tag here in this scenario is that I want the browser to know that this is a particular tag I'm referencing. This tag is under detail table under th. So I'm directly identifying it and setting it out. But what I want to do, I want to give the three of them the same thing, not just one. So I will use comma instead. So any property I give to the th to the detail table here, which is the table tag, and th and td will be the same thing if I use this comma there. So I'm giving them the same border styling. Do you see it? Hello? Anybody
Yes, sir.
there?
Yes, sir. I've seen
Okay.
it, sir.
So let me give the parent
Yes,
div
sir.
there.
Okay, we are the one who are
So that
check
it's more glaring. Let's say class table table wrapper. So I'll come up here.
Yeah, they come down.
Table wrapper, that will be dots dot table wrapper. So I just want to give it padding and color. Padding, let's say 100px, and background color to be light blue. Did we see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So though I didn't like that color, the color is too deep. Let me make it lighter. So now, after we are done with that, but I didn't really like the way the border is appearing. There's a way you can actually collapse that border. And to do that, let me style only this guy. only the detailed table. That's our main table class. I want to give the width to be 100%. So I've separated this one from the other one because it's only this detail table I want to style. So that will be width. Yeah. That will be. Let me use this guy for consistency. That should be. Let me use 100%. 100%. What happened? Taste table. Oh, this thing, you made a mistake here since. No wonder. Okay, can we see that? Because I made the width of that table itself, the table tag, to be 100%. So it has adjusted itself to the screen. So let's see the importance of that 100%. I told you that when you use px, the size of that container will not change, but when you use percentage, it will be adjusting itself to the parent div or tag rather. So this one, if I'm adjusting this screen now, you see that the table will be adjusting itself. Can we see that? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
now
sir,
if
we
I
can
should use
see it.
px now, let's
Yes,
see
sir, I can see, sir.
the difference between percentage and px. So if I decide to use probably 1000, oh no, let me use 920 px here and save it. So this is the size. Now let me try and adjust the screen and see what happened. You can see that the table is not adjusting itself again because I use px. So px will always remain constant, it will not adjust, but percentage will always be adjusting itself to the parent container or div. So let's go back to the. Our time is actually off for this session, but let's see what will happen if Google will not cut us off. We continue with this. Okay, so now I want to collapse. Now when you look at this border line, it's not actually looking good. All these inner td and th, they are adding another border to it. So I want the border to collapse with each other. So there's a property called border collapse. So you define that only in your table tag and not in your th and td. So I'll come up here and say border collapse. So it's to make the inner border to collapse with the parent table border. So and it will now be what? Collapse. So once you use this guy, you see what will happen. Can we see how it appears? It's actually looking much more better than the first one. Styling it the way we want to style it. So you can as well increase the border line if that 1px is not good enough for you. Probably you want it to look bigger. Let's say 5 now. The border will look bigger. Do you see that? But this is ugly. So I still prefer that one. Okay, so the other thing now is you can style each line the way you want it. And what do I mean by that? Let me show you. No. So this head now, I can just come down. Let me copy this guy so that it will save me time. I want to reference the table head alone. That's th. And I want to give it a unique color. Sorry, I'm coming. So which should be background color. And mind you,
Why do you
this
have to start with
arrow
your
I'm using
profile
here,
picture?
you may decide not to use it. Take for example, if you don't put comma in between the detailed table and the th, it will still see th as a child of this detailed table class. And if you still put that our arrow sign there, it's the same thing. Just that arrow sign is more direct and is defined explicitly than the one that you don't put arrow there. So if I still remove the arrow, it will still do the same thing. It will still know that the th is still under detailed table. So my background color now, I want it to be probably blue. Let me say blue now. And the color,
Daddy Bolu is
the
also
text color
Francis.
now, I want it to be
Okwa is also
white.
Francis. Okwa is Francis now.
I will teach you some things about this color later. There is a better way of defining color than just writing it. Do you see that? So now,
I don't know. I don't know. Are you trying to sing?
I want the every even number or even tr to have a different color from the odd one. So how do I do that? So there's a way to do that. I will now select it. Why this guy no move? So this will be T. I want to select all the TR now.
Let's search for it.
So you can see that now there is a property called nth child. So this nth child means that all the child, any tag inside this tr tag that is number 2, like it's even number, either that's 2, 4, 8 and the rest, should have this particular property I want to give to it. Background color, I'll just give it a painted, let me use this Alice blue. So when you do this, it's only those tags. Okay, let's even check it before we go to our browser. I think I would like to change this name so that it's much more better. John Mark. Let me use Wood. Mark. Let me use John Mark.
Where is it?
And this place, let me use Sky Mark. Now we have how many data here? I think I would like to increase it so that you can see the even and the odd. So Sky Mark. Let me change this one from Mark. Let me use a lady now. Joy Wood. Maybe James.
Shift oúnjẹ máa ti máa jóná. Oúnjẹ tí yóò tó 5 minutes yóò fi gbẹ. Yóò ti mọ jóná sẹ́.
Abeg, I'm coming, sorry. So now let's see what happened. Can we see that? Can we see the changes?
Yes, I can see the change.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me add more glaring color to it. Where is the guy? Let me use yellow. Oh, I would like this lime color. I like this guy. Let's save it. You see it? That the first one. Now when you count it from the header now, this John Mark here, the first John Mark here is number 2, right? The row 2. Stone Mark is row 4.
Yes.
Joy Wood is row 6.
Yeah.
You can see now 2, 4, 6. They are
Row
actually
6.
even number. Why Wood Mark, Sky Mark, that's 3, 5, 7. They are not even number, so it will not apply any style to them. Is that clear? So at the same time, we can as well
Yes, sir.
add padding to our th and td. So let me just put it there. Oh no, no. So this guy will not be like this. Sorry, pardon.
bó ṣe wà yìí mo wà sókè ìjà wọ́n lè rà kọ́ ní pé
They make it
bí
to
àwọn
10
kan kò
years.
sí mọ̀ tí mọ́tò bá máa rìn after the election before the election aṣáà òun náà yìí ṣáà lè ṣe lọ́la yìí
Can we see this?
jẹ́ ká wo bó ṣe máa rí but
It's looking much more better.
ṣé
Yes,
Now,
sir.
ṣé ní
when you look at the alignment of this
jẹ́
test,
ká wo bó ṣe máa
the
láàárọ̀
test is
lọ́la
actually aligning to
tàbí kò tè jẹ́ ká
what's it
ṣe
called,
ní
to the left.
mọ́ni.
You can make the test to align either to the center or to the right, or to justify itself. So how do you do that?
wo
Under
manager
this guy,
yìí
let's
nínú
just
àwọn student
test
wọ́n message mi lónìí
align. Sorry,
pé
someone
wọ́n
want to
béèrè
join.
question nípa web visa náà ni yóò láyà pass through náà tó wà tó bá sọ mo ní kó kí mo tẹ̀ sọ fún ganan
How many people has been on the queue?
mo ní please
I guess so.
it's late wọ́n á ní sọ́rí
Please, is the class recording?
ló wá ní pé
Yes,
kó
sir.
wá message mi tó wà
Who is on
mi
the
ò tí
queue
padà
again?
select class rep jàre bátìrì mi kú nígbà tá a ti ṣe last class rep.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sorry.
Are we still joining the other link?
ó ní sí
Not yet, since this one is not closing now.
Okay.
When I was going to get the video of this,
I'm coming. Let's just finish this one up. So the test align now, so you can use either right, left, or justify. So what you want to use now for our test alignment, just write test align, then you write center. Then let's check out for our table. Can you see that? That all the tests as aligned to what's it called, to the center.
The center.
So if I want the first column here to align to the left, I will now select only the first column. Now when you look at this thing too, the header too, they adjust themselves to the center. So but if I want the only the TD now to align, maybe the
okay
first row, the first column rather, to align itself to the left. So this is what I'll do. I'll just write it this way, then change this. Oh no, I have to select this guy, end child. So I'll define my end child with this TD here. So I'll not use even or odd, I'll just put 1, and this one will be left. I think someone want to join again. Okay, nobody is joining. Do you see that? It will only pick the first TD.
Yes, sir.
That's the first column. And my first column is this one. It has aligned it to the left, while the other ones will remain at the center. So look at the way I select that first one. My TD is my column. So n child 1, that's the first child, the first TD. And from our data here, the first TD is the name. So the name column will be aligned to the left, while every other one that we have already started here will still be at the center. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
should we continue with this one, or we should use the other link for the second session?
yeah, fine with this one.
Let us continue this lesson. This is not obvious.
Okay, I hope nobody is asking question from the group.
Yeah, nobody.
Check.
Okay. All right, so the next tag, this is not looking beautiful. Let me use a better color. Thank God VS Code is there to help us out with color. I've not actually taught you some things about color, but I will be doing that later. If I love this type of one. Okay, then this color is not good. Let me change it to something like, let me use white. Will I use white? Yes, I'll use white. Or better still, let me change this even here. This even, I'm not actually using even here again. I want to define color for the odd one. Sorry, odd numbers. So this one will now be a light blue. Okay, I think this is looking better. So this our border color that is showing this line. You can as well remove it by making the border to be null. You can just come to this place where we define our border here and make it to be null. And you see that what the border will no longer be there. Did you see this one? Hello.
Yes, sir. We see it, sir.
So this one is looking much more better, right? Is that? I want the even line, even rows to also have their own color too. So let me just so that it will. I want to apply white to it. So let me just change this one here to even. That it will be much more glary. Please, if your mic is on, off it. I think it's more legible than the first one now. More clear now. It's clearer now. Okay, so let's move to the next tag. So if I ask anybody to design a table for me now, I believe someone should be able to do that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now the tag we are going now is one of the most important tag that
Yes,
you
sir.
will be using day in and day out after this table tag, and that will be form tag. What is form tag? Form tag is the one you use to get login and register registration information. So how do you define that? You can as well leave this container, this div. You can see the way I'm collapsing it from the side. Okay, this guy is inside this guy here. So for the form now, let me create another div. Then I'll create a class called form wrapper. So inside it there's a tag called form. So the first thing I will not go into the attribute of this form. When we start our PHP, we'll be doing that. So this form now has many elements that you can as well use, or tag that they normally use together with this form. And those tags, if you use it without form, they will not actually perform very well. And such tag is called the first number one is input tag. Hello, are we there?
Yes, sir. We are there. Yes.
Okay, so this tag is not a must you close it. It's not a must you close it. You can close it this way. You can see the way I close it. Just put your forward slash at the other greater than sign. So now we see type. It shows that what this input tag here, element here, what we want to get from the form is just a text. So which means that they can put anything that is text there and it will take it for us. Let's see how it will appear. This it here, but let me add some styling to it so that it will look much more better. So for our form wrapper, let's go up. Dot form wrapper. this will be let me just define the width to be someone to enter. Let me admit the person. That would be
Did you charge my phone? So you cannot tell me that you had me when I said you should help me and charge my phone.
100%. And let me define height because I don't want to be scrolling. Let me make it to be 500 px. Then padding. And make it 50 px. Then at the top of my tag here, I want to add a title. That would be, let me use h2. No, let me use sign up form. And this h2 here, let me style it a little bit here. h2, I'm styling directly. Background color. So, and color equal to white. And okay, I think that's good enough. Let's check it out. Can we see it now? Let's give it, give the form wrapper its own color. I'll reduce this size, it's too big. Yeah, it will look better. Let me just give this 500 px. Then this color, let me make it to be white. Okay, so this is our input now. You can enter anything inside. So this is how they take your name and the rest, but it's still not looking like it. So now another thing you can do here, you can also add something called name. This name, you won't know the importance of it now until we start our PHP. So let's just, what do I want to get here? First name. So let me just write first name here. That's the name. Then I want to put a label for the visitor to know the type of information is providing here. There are two ways. I can actually put a placeholder. This placeholder will be showing faintly inside the, like it's showing like painted text inside the text box. So let me use write first your full name here. Did we see it? It's showing inside it that was the user should put his or her full name inside there. So I can as well define as many text box as I like. Did we see that? But okay, let's add what we call label. Label is another tag to actually connect to input tag, and it shows what the input is all about, or tell what the input is all about rather. So input tag, this for now is that which of these inputs are we referencing here. So in that case we can put an ID. This ID I'm putting here, I'm adding here, is not for styling, it's just for this particular tag to have a unique reference ID. So I can just put name, username. Then this other guy here, I can put ID to be user email. Let me just write email. So because I want to collect email type of information. So this input type here will not be text again. I will change to email. And this my placeholder here, I will change it to email too. I will just write email or put in your email, anything you can put in that placeholder. Then for this one now, I want to take phone number. Then I will put TEL, telephone, so that when the person is putting the details, the browser will know what type of information is valid inside that
So now only open from the house.
input text box. Sorry, don't write your name with space. You write it together, you put hyphen there. So this you can just put mobile, anything you want, mobile number, or you can even write sample phone number. Let me accept that person. You can put sample phone number here so that the person will know what type of things to add there. 090 90. Let me just add anything there. So just a dummy data. So for this last one, I want to put dates. Should I add dates or number? Okay, I want the person to tell me the age. I want to collect age with this one. So this guy will be age. This guy will be age. Then I don't like this guy is too long because it's a variable data. Let me just put mobile. Okay, so for this first name here, the username, I will have it to be, I will be pointing, this 4 here will be pointing to the ID. And what's my ID for this first input text is username. So that's what you write in this label 4 here. So for the second input, which is my email, I'll write another 4 and I'll put what's my ID name, that's email. Then for the second third one, I'll also add another label and the ID. Okay, there's no ID in this one. Let me just define the ID. ID can be anything unique you like. So I will put let me put number. Okay, let me just put phone. You can still use mobile there, but not to confuse you. So let me just write that, not to confuse you. So for this other one, age. Okay, I haven't still declared my ID yet. Sorry. Age. Okay, let's go back and check it out. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. I'm coming. First name. Oh, sorry. You write the text inside your label. That's a full name. And this one inside this label here. The 4 here is just referencing the ID of your input. But the text you want to display for the user inside this label, you write it there. Email. And ensure that your text is always starting with a capital letter. It's case sensitive. Phone number. And here, I want to collect age. I'll put age there. Then let's run it. Can we see that? Full name, email, phone number, and age. We are not going to the setting yet. So after that, what else can we do? Now, this input, it has a lot of type attributes. We have, here now we only use 4 types, which is text, email, telephone, and number. We also have many of them, but let's try this one out. So for the full name now, I can enter any text there. Let me use John James. And for the email, you can see now automatically picking the last used email on my system, but I cannot write anything there. So now, mind you, what I put inside this email is not a valid email. So which means that anytime I want to submit this form, it will always be showing me that place is not correct. Can you see the title there? Please include at in the email address, showing that what is not a valid email. But let me just ignore it. And you can see our placeholder for phone number. So the person that will be entering the phone number already know the format to enter. So let me just write this 234. Please write anything. Alright, for the age now, let me try and put test there. You can see now I'm typing from my keyboard. Now it's not showing the test because what we are expecting is a number and not a test. So that's why it will not, if the person is trying to put test, it will not show. So I'll put number there now. Let me accept that person. So and for this phone number too, okay, you can actually put test there. It will still take it, but it will check it when you want to submit it. So how do you submit this form? There's another input type that is called submit input. Then the type will not be test or email. The type will just be submit. And the name for variable, you can still use submit or anything you like. You can put ID there. So the value, this value now is the text that will be showing on the button. It will appear like a button. So let's say submit. Submit. That's the text you want to show. Did we see it now? Appearing like a button. The input type for this one is what? Submit. Let's try and submit it. It will only reload the page because we didn't link it to any API or any backend information, and to reset the form. Alright, let's try other input type out. Oh, okay, before we try other input type, let me add another one, which is called test area. Most time when you look at when you look at contact us page, you will see where they will ask you to enter your what's it called, your message. And you look at that, when you look at the text box, it's always bigger than where you enter your email and your phone number. It's because that bigger area is actually test area, not input tag they use for that place. So you will see how this one will actually appear now. Let me save this. You can see the way it appear is bigger than input because it's expecting a lot of text inside it, so not a single line data. So that's why it's bigger. So now let's go back. Now in this text area, you can see columns and rows, so which means that the default line that I want to see when I'm typing, at least I want to be seeing at least 30 columns of words and 10 rows of lines. So you can reduce it. If I should reduce this one now, the rows to 2, you see that the text area will also reduce. You can see that because what I'm expecting here should not be more than 2 lines of text of word. So anything more than 2 will be wrapped inside, just like your WhatsApp and the rest is behaving. It's actually text area they use for those text box you are using for text. Alright, so let me increase it to 5. You see that what? The rows will increase. You can see that. My battery is actually low now. Oh mess. Okay, we see how sometimes. You can see now that you can see up to 5 rows. So that's what the columns and the rows on this text area is actually doing. Alright, let's go back to our input tag again. Like I said, we have many types under this input. We have another one called date. If you want to collect date, probably date of birth or date of anything, instead of using number, you just use date as a type. Let me separate it. And this guy here, let me change this our age test to date. So this date doesn't need placeholder, so don't disturb yourself with the placeholder. You can only add a label to it to tell the person that what you are filling is a date, probably DOB, date of birth. So let's see how it appears. You can see it. So if I click on it now, it will show me calendar. See that? So you click on this one, you can see the year. You can actually select the year. You can scroll up and down to see other years. You can see that. Select the month. That's all. I've already filled that. So if you want to include an input that is not date, probably a time, You can change the what's it called?
Telling you now. So that you capture the sky, that's why it's in video. Me, I would have said, why is it not in audio?
This one should be date.
Mm.
You can change the type to time, and it will show you something like a clock. You see it? So that's how you can do that. And if you need something that has to do with range,
No.
there is still another thing for that. Don't mind this label again because it's naturally corresponding with what is in the ID. But in order to save our time rather, so I will not be bothering myself with that. So I want to change this one to range. I want to get range of value. Can you see? Can you see this? So it helps someone to select a range. Just drag it will select for you. But you can actually put another attribute inside this range type of input, which is minimum, where you want the person to start with, and the minimum should be 0, while the maximum range that the person can select would be 10. So as the person is dragging it, it will be selecting from 0 to 10. You can see that. So the same thing, this minimum and maximum, you can also add it to your date input. Say for example, you don't want the minimum age to go beyond, sorry, this time. You don't want the user age, the minimum age to go beyond 18 years. So you put 18 here, and you don't want the maximum age to go beyond 50. You put 50. So what will happen in this case? What will happen is that when I'm trying to put any age that is below, it will not actually submit it. If I'm clicking submit here, it will not submit it. So instead, until I put the valid age, which is between 18 and that 50, before it will take it when I want to submit my form. So that's what the range actually does: minimum and maximum. Are we there?
Yes, we are there.
Okay, so there are other input type aside from this range. We have another one called, oh my god,
Yes.
huh? I think I've forgotten it now. Okay, let's just use those are the major one for now. I just forgot the other one. Okay, yes, I remember. You can use something we call radio button, like when you are creating a question with multiple choice, multiple options. I'm coming. Yahweh, Yahweh.
I'm sorry, please. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't see your screen any longer.
Really?
Yes, I can't see your
Can
screen.
any
I don't
other
know
person
if
see
it's
my
just
screen?
me, but it's been a while.
You can see your screen.
Just try log out and log in again.
Okay, okay.
Range. So this one I'll be changing it to radio. This is a radio button. Let's see how it will show. You can see it here. When you click on it, now let's add a label to it so that it will be much more visible. And this guy will be radio. And here I'll change to radio button.
Sure, you'll be following him tomorrow. No. Right, you follow him. I'll tell him that I have
Or
a package,
input.
a baggage for you to help me deliver to. So help me
Coming.
deliver to.
Let me admit her.
No,
You're welcome back. Can you see the screen now? You can see now? So when you click on it, it will fill the circle or the button. So there's another one we can use aside our radio, like checkbox.
to life.
When you just want the thing to tick it like it mark the box. let me just change this. Okay, let me just create another one.
Okay, when I saw what you know me say it was for me no matter for to any about near to my soul. But my company is in there.
So let's check it out.
But I'm pretty.
You can see now checkbox. That's the type of inputs for this type. Probably you want to collect gender. You want the person just select either male or female. Then you put this type. So I can just change this guy now to probably male. And my ID will be for male. Okay, few or I mean. Okay, let me go back. So this for May, and my ID here will be May. So that when I'm clicking anyone that is also checkbox, it will not be checking the two at the same time. And the other one will be female. Oh my goodness.
You have to like. You don't say that you cannot do anything. You can do it. Yes, now.
See,
Sorry, I mistakenly refreshed the meeting page. I'm sorry about that. Can anybody hear me? Hello? Can anybody hear me? I've lost these people. Hello, can anybody hear me? Sorry,
Yes,
I
yes, I
mistakenly
can
refreshed
help
the
your
page.
screen.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, I
sir.
Okay.
can.
Alright, so now
Thank you.
let's refresh this page now. You can see the male and female. So if you are male, you select this guy. Then if you are female, you select this guy. Do you see that? So those are the things we use checkbox for, and other things you want to use it for. So these are the types of input form. There's another one called progress tag. Progress. Oh my god. That's not actually input directly. And you put your minimum and maximum there. Let's say 5. Your maximum put 50. Let's see this tag. How this guy will work. Okay, it work. Can you see that? So what we use progress for? Probably you want to track the progress of a particular page, and you want to be reading probably as the person is scrolling the page, you want to be tracking the progress of particular page where the person is on your web page, or to be showing the person the remaining lengths of information remain to complete on the page. Sorry, seconds. So but now that minimum and maximum I define is not actually good enough. Let's add one more thing to it. So I'll divide this one to be 10. What is it? Okay, maximum will be 50, and the current value will be, instead of minimum we use value, so value will be 10, and inside it now we can define the percentage. 10 out of 50 is how many percent? I think that should be 20%. So let's see what happened. You can see that. So if you are designing something that has to do with probably you want to say, okay, my skill in HTML is 80%. So this guy now I can just put a tag here. You can as well use your div tag inside here. Oh. It's not forbidden. So oh, thank God I remember this guy. So now I can just background. Let me use again. So now instead of 10, I want it to be like 40. And 40 will give me how many percentage? 80%. People want to join? What's making sound? So can we see it? So instead of me now, we'll change to like probably HTML. You can also change the color. So this one now, I can change the color of the progress bar. Style. To maybe orange. Let's see. Alright, look at this guy messing up. Oh, don't worry, this guy is not working with it. We'll do that one later. Not to waste our time on this. So there's another way of grouping your. Sorry, I'm coming. Your inputs. Take for example now, you want to group all this guy here, the name to be under address, under contact information or personal information, the full name, email, and probably okay. Let me just group email and phone number to be under contact address. So what will I do with that? Let me put it. Let me just take it down here. So I'll use what we call field select. I'll use what is called field select. Then after that, inside this field select, I can use legend. Then I will have my inputs inside it. So this legend now, let me just use a contact address, and I'll put my input inside. So let me copy this guy too and wrap it inside field select. Field select. Then inside this guy I'll have my legend, and I want to use this one to be personal info. Then my input. So let's see how it will look like. Hello, can we see that? This is how you can group your input information. So we have personal info, contact address, and the rest. So now let me just add a little styling to it. Let's go to our styling here. So now I want to style my input. So I can just use the same styling for all of them. Input, because it's tag, so I can reference it directly without a class, which should be 80% or probably 90%. Or let me use 95% of the parent width. And see how it's happier. Can you see that? Then I want to add a padding to inner text. So padding 10. Yes, my system will soon sort down. Hopefully we'll be able to complete this before then. Then border, I don't want to see any border. No. Outline color. Let me just put it out. No. Then which other thing? I think this is okay for now. Then my label. So I'll just reference all of them directly. Then let's say padding
I wanna wish you a
10 to
Merry
10 px.
Christmas.
Then color, let's say black. Then I want it to be bold. In that case, I will use font. There's a property, styling property, that makes text to be bold. Firstly, the size of it to be let's say 16 px. Then to make it bold, that will be font weight, and that will be, you can write bold, you can write number, but for now I will prefer to use number. And let's see how it goes. Can we see that? But our input is not showing again, so we can just change the background color of our input to something that looks better. So this guy, I will change the color
secondary school.
to something else.
See guys, bàtà wà secondary school. Ara àwọn tán kéré jù class ẹ̀ pé àwọn kàní tó jẹ́ pé oní ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan tó sọ pé táwa padà parí secondary school pé tó bá pọ̀ lórúkọ máa gbá máa gbá etí ẹ̀.
Can we see that?
Wádà yóò fi báyìí. Look macho gidi.
So you can as well put margin bottom so that you create space.
Colour ló ń bọ̀dá wá kó síbẹ̀.
Margin.
This is not a guy colour.
Okay, let me do one style now.
Poverty ní investor ní báyìí.
That will be top and bottom. Okay, let me just write it directly.
Sórí bó ṣe wà yìí ẹ̀. Nígbà táwọn secondary school.
Margin bottom,
gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ mi.
let's say
Tí kò bá fẹ́ rí
15 px.
ọ̀nà máa rán sí mi.
Then margin top,
ọ̀nà máa rán sí mi. Nígbà yẹn
let me use
wọ́n
5
ti
px.
Dọ́lápọ̀
Then I
wáyé.
will reduce this guy
Dọ́lápọ̀
to
fún
10
ní rìnkì wá
px
fún
now.
mi. Mo ní kí lẹ́ni yìí fẹ́ fi sí ní àpò mi. Jẹ́ ìwé tó fẹ́ fi sí ní àpò mi. Nígbà tí mo sábà fa
Can we see that?
ríǹgì ni. Ní Dọ́lápọ̀
It
náà.
has created a space.
Dọ́lápọ̀ yẹn láàyè mi gbà wọn.
So let me just increase this guy to 5 again.
Wáyé Dọ́lápọ̀ yẹn.
Sorry, this one added to the whole thing. Margin top.
This picture is beautiful. What to show me that?
Okay, very good. Can you see how it appears now? Just because we've already defined our width to be 500 here, the height rather to be 500, that's why the thing is cutting off. So let me remove the height so that it will be auto. Okay, can we see how it appears now? So my system will soon sort down. So you can as well, if you want the edge to curve, to be curved, you can put it. You can just come to your input here and define your border radius. Border radius like 5 px. It will be curved a little bit. And if you want your border back, the way I remove it now, probably you want it to be to have a particular color. Let's just like 1 px solid. Let me use pink.
You are going to connect issue by company system, the personal system.
Can we see that? Hello?
Yes, 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 yes.
Is the pink color visible? And you know the pink is not actually going with the background color, so I can decide to use blue color instead. So that will be much more aligned with our. Is it aligned now? Oh, this one is too much.
Yes, it's visible now.
It's visible now, but I didn't like the way it's too much visible. Let me reduce it. Something that will not be too shouting. Okay, I think this is better. It's not shouting now. Can we see it? Add everything. So this is your range here from 0 to 10. You have your what's it called? Let me add another thing to this ATM area. My system will soon sort down. So that's how you can group it using field select. You use field select. Why the legend is the title of that grouping. You can see the legend here. Personal information is my legend title. For here, contact address is my legend title. Why the outer line here is the field select line. Is that clear?
Yes.
So for this guy, let me add another thing to it. I'll just change the value.
Now you have to talk to Joe. So the picture you would have done. Sorry.
So let's say this one now is 30 and I want it to be Fabric CSS and JavaScript. Let me just write PHP. And the value is what? Sorry. The value will be 10. And this one will be 20%. 20. And this one will be 60%. Let's see how it appears. You can see the range now. So I can as well make it to be the size to be 100% width to fill the whole width. So let me just define it here. Width 100. No 95%. Can we see that?
Yeah.
Hello. So these are the things you can use. The tag you can use in HTML. There are other tags, but for now we would like to stop here. My system is sorting down already.
What is this?
That guy náà ni na same guy náà ni.
What is this?
Náà rí wọ́n sọ fún wa ọ̀gán wa rí pé gbogbo flesh ẹ̀ máa jáde wá. Mo máa ń kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí pé ó ń lo nǹkan síbi ìtẹ̀ yìí ni omi ò bí wá mo ṣẹ̀ rí pé bí ṣìtẹ̀ ṣe látìgbà tó wà kékeré nìyẹn. Àbúrò sí.
What is this?
Ìyá náà dẹ̀ ní followers pọ̀ láìpẹ́ generation wáyà ó ní pattern message ta fall in love fún. Ó dà gbé ẹ̀ka ti wà tó fẹ́ why love God yìí ló wà wá àbí tó kàn gbá ọ lórí ṣeréṣeré yìí.
Can I tell you this? Instead of Satan attacking 1 million people, 500 people, he will find out who do those 500 people listen to. So if God announces that he's bringing new mantle upon you, that's not the time to dance and brag. That is the time to return and say, Lord, teach me. Because if you are Elijah, Jezebel is coming. There are many of you, because of the mantles and the things that God wants to do in your life, there are higher levels of separation and consecration, to the point that God will give you rules that does not make sense. It is not for everybody. It's his way of protecting what is on you. And many times, because we do not have discernment, Lord, why is my life like this? Why do you inconvenience me this much? And God is saying, you are carrying through your voice the destiny of nations, and there will be requirements. Can I tell you this? In the realm of the spirit, the proof of maturity is dependence. If you are independent, you are a child in the spirit. John 21, it says, when thou art young, you are allowed to go wherever you want to go. But when you become matured, one will hold you. So many of you have come here. I believe God put this burden in the heart of his servant to call for a solemn assembly. Do you know why? Because there are many people, young people especially, who love God. You know, many times when I see a generation of young people with their passion, I am touched by the passion, but I'm also afraid of the ignorance. Passion and ignorance is risky, because then if I am thirsty, anything that looks like water, I will drink it. We need to be able to lay off superstar Christianity and Apostle Joshua Selman and all of this nonsense and focus on preserve this spiritual heritage of revealing Christ. You will be learning that one of the ways that Satan binds men and shuts their voices is using this subtle evil of complacency. Why do I need to preach again when my voice is everywhere? Why do I need to fast again when I can lay hands on anyone and you stand up from the wheelchair? Let me tell you what happens. One of the ways that Satan can destroy you is to create an avalanche of commendation over your grace. You can be commended to an extent that your voice becomes silent, because there is something about the human spirit under the influence of applause and commendation. Commendation is like salt in the food. If you put a handful of salt in food, you have ruined the whole thing, but salt is needed. So there is a way that Satan begins to raise people in the name of loyalty. They will sing your praises to a point where fasting becomes unnecessary. The things that you did that brought you there, you no longer will have the press for it again. Why should I pray 8 hours? Why should I pray 2 hours? Why should I do what I was doing in the house of God? And Satan helps you by orchestrating men who can keep singing your praises until the praises become louder than the voice of God. Those of us that God is helping, listen to me carefully. I know some of you admire us and you clap, and once we are coming in all the protocol that escort us, those are just little conveniences to show honor. Do not get caught up with some of those deceptions. If that is your idea of ministry and that is what you are building yourself into, then casualty will be waiting for you. Thank God for the honor. Thank God for all of these things that we receive. But can I tell you this? Complacency. Satan can participate in singing your praise. There is something about the human spirit when you are appreciated. And that is true, that is wonderful. But Satan knows what over celebration can do to a human spirit. It is not only when he attacks you with evil that he destroys you. Satan is not stupid. He has an advantage of age. He has studied this humanoid species of mankind. He knows our vulnerability. And he knows that when I am suffering, chances are that I will be close to God. When I'm trying to grow a church, when I'm trying to grow my influence, chances are that I will pay attention in keeping to the things that make for greatness. But when you get to a point where all the institutions of men are located for accreditation, now vet you and accredit that you are a man approved of God, there is no more point to be proved. The TV stations have accredited that God has called you. All the award institutions have accredited that God has called you. The ministry results have accredited that God has called you. So now what is left? If it's branches, you have it. If it's money, you have it. If it's miracles, you have it. If it's a good sermon, you have it. What is left? That is why the beginning of a believer's journey must maintain the formula and the protocol used in scripture. In the beginning, God.
Baby.